Well, hey there, all you scrapbookers and stampers. Suzanne here in the studio today with the last 2022 edition of Sheetload of cards. Today we're going to tackle 2 sheet loads, and we're going to be using up just scraps for both of these. Let's take a look at the first one. This is March of 2022. As you can see, this is a nice top fold card. We're using 3 6x6 pattern papers, so she's calling for 6 in order to yield 6 cards. And then we've got a sentiment and an image, and then this across the card fishtail flag. When I went to look for paper for this, I came across this SEI Corinne, which I have had since maybe 2012 or so. I got it at an early CK when SEI Paper Company was still attending those. And I actually had I had 6 or 7 sheets of it, but most of it had this beautiful silver on it. And I almost thought it was too good just to go straight to using it as scraps for cards. So instead, I decided to use some recent inspiration from another close to my heart maker. Her name is Janice Gilhooly, and she is in Australia. And she did a recent video showing how to get a 2-page layout out of 3 6x6 sheets. So this page here I did pretty much as to how she had done it, although I added this card and this additional decoration here, but the base was kind of the same. Then on this side, since I had 2 sheets of 2 of my sheets, so I really had 5 sheets to work with instead of 3, so I opted to go with bigger photos. On this page, originally, she had 3 3x3 photos all stacked on a photo mat like here, so it was a little more symmetrical. But as she said, there was an awful lot of white space around hers, and since I had the extra paper, I wanted to go ahead and use up a little of that more white space with the larger photo size, which I tend to go to 4x4 more than a 3x3. So this was all done using just those papers. And then I had gotten recently on a sale, not all that long ago, this Fresh Start chipboard from American Crafts. This is originally from the Paige Evans Turn the Page. And it had some of the same colors that I needed, so it worked out real well. Let me give you a close-up of the embellishment clusters. I also added in some little black stickers from my sticker book and some silver enamel dots. These are actually a different color enamel dot that I just used a Spectrum Noir silver marker pen to cover. Of course, you got to make sure you let those dry completely before you put them on your page. So I was real happy to be able to get a 2-page layout out of such a small amount of paper. And then, of course, I had less paper to do cards, but let me go ahead and show you those cards. Here we go. Some of these were actually just strip scraps that I had left over. Again, I'm using chipboard from that chipboard set. This Thinking of You is a very old stamp that was just laying around the studio. Since I had 3 cards and there were 3 chipboard birds in the set, I decided to go ahead and make those the focal point. So I thought these turned out just stunning. They don't have that full-on silver effect that the other papers did that I used on the scrapbook page, but they are very, very pretty. Okay, what's next? May 2022 sheet load. And as you can see, this is similar in a lot of ways. We just have 1 vertical accent here and then 2 rectangles. She actually has this offset to the left and then has a very long sentiment here. Because of the sentiment I was using, I change that up a little, and I actually centered that panel in the middle. And these cards, let me give you a real close-up of the first one. I didn't really think these needed much bling to them because the patterns are pretty involved and pretty busy. So I used a simple 3-ticket punch from EK Success that's been in my stash forever. And then I did Thinking of You here from a Close to My Heart stamp set. And then also I decided on these other 2 tickets to go ahead and do a little more stamping. And I used this D2051 set. I will link that in the description if it is still available. And here you can see the little dotted line and the little sort of starburst flower. Very versatile stamp sets. Don't forget to look at the little stamps in your stamp sets as well as the major ones. Because I had a bunch of different pieces of this paper line, I was able to get a bunch of versions of this. Sometimes I did them in blue ink, and sometimes I did them in the brown. But in all, I was able to get lots and lots of variations of this one. And then I had several nearly full pieces of some of the blue patterns. And so then I went to a second sentiment scheme here. I've used 2 Stampin' Up! Punches. This is a small tag, and then this is a label. And then I've got a small dusty blue brat here, and then some white. On this one, I thought it needed a little more pop of the white to go with the blue. So in all, I was able to get 18 cards out of my leftovers. So I was glad to finish off this paper line that I had scrapbook with a few weeks ago. Okay, I don't know when I will be tackling the 2021 sheet loads, or even if. We'll see how that goes, but I will probably switch to a scrapbooking series next. As always, I appreciate your time and attention. Bye for a bit.